I mean, the whole topic of the session today is just like so up my street, if I can say that. I spent 6 years as a part of a study commissioned by the European Union to really study what is it that makes leaders become inspired leaders. And I traveled the world and met leaders over a 6-year period. About 258 or so actually qualified as inspired leaders, and from that I distilled a pretty good sense of how these leaders are able to operate even in times of phenomenal change. And then of course we have had our COVID experience. I call it the crown phenomenon, which changed the whole landscape all over again. So we truly live in extraordinary times. And in these extraordinary times, we have an opportunity as business leaders and in our life to deliver extraordinary results and live an extraordinary life. I have 2 roles that I play. I have a soul mission, which is all about transforming leadership in the world and having people really rise and become inspired leaders. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. And I have a business collective where we take businesses under our wing and we transform them by teaching them how some of these extraordinary results principles. And I have an online full spectrum well-being platform called Jago, where you can live your life with joy, ease, grace, omnipresent. Now, let's look at this whole point of extraordinary times. The foundation upon which we are now building our life, we are now building our business has transformed. And we've had an experience of that during these COVID times. What are the facets of this new foundation? Now, here are a few things. Uncertainty is what is certain. Unknown is what is the known. Change is constant. It is not rapid. It is just constant. Take nothing for granted is the modus operandi. There is a switch. There is a switch from survival to thriving. It's no longer simply about survival. And we can see there are many, many businesses in my business collective. We taught them about thriving as a leader. And as a result, even though we've had businesses from the food sector, for example, completely shut down during the COVID times, these people took on their thriving strategies. And as we got towards the end of the COVID time, they started doubling, tripling their turnover literally within months. So that comes from this focusing on a thriving strategy where survival gets taken care of. There's also another switch from sustainable to regenerative. Really time became so valuable during this COVID times. We all got to understand what was really important for us. So every time we spent with our loved ones was phenomenal. We got to understand that. Same thing, let's value that for ourselves. So anytime you in business decide to spend in any particular strategy or any particular project, how about creating a regenerative strategy so that when that job is done, it regenerates itself and you can focus on the next thing. And you don't have to take 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. It is all about shift from command and control to collaborative co-creation of coexistence. We saw this whole collapse of coexistence that was occurring before the COVID times. And collaborative co-creation is the way in which you're going to rise. So in these extraordinary times, it really does call for a leadership reset. It presents you as a leader with an opportunity to really take on this switch from delivering fantastic results to actually engaging with extraordinary results. Extraordinary results have 3 components: unprecedented performance, operational excellence, and transforming quality of life. For you as the leader, your stakeholders, which includes your family and the planet itself. Now, all of this stuff has become very stark and real to all of us as we have gone through the COVID phenomenon. One of the businesses that we work with, they were about $11 million before COVID. Most of their counterpart businesses, competitors, really scaled down and came right down during the COVID times. These people actually created a whole new business angle. And not only that, they started getting some serious strategic contracts from different parts of the world because they took on extraordinary results. They were leading at that time with the impact they were having on the planet. And the people that were within that organization started demonstrating how they were spending the time with their family as well as delivering delivering to client expectations. And all of this was occurring with joy, ease, grace, harmony, present. It's no magic formula. It's just a matter of decluttering what's there. Let's look at this leadership reset now. Leadership reset. So I have a short time here, so I'm actually just going to give you 3 practices and 3 questions that will enable you to start rethinking how you approach your life. The first thing, before I even talk about that, so for me, home and work life, it isn't about balancing it for me. Because when I think about balance, I think about standing on a seesaw, and then you're like just out of balance, attempting to balance. So for me, it's about harmonizing. The reality is, whatever occurs at home, you do take the vibration of that into work. Whatever occurs at work, you do bring it back at home. So it's about really finding a way in which you can be in a state of harmony. So I'm not about propagating this balance stuff. I'm really about just be real. This is just so, harmonize yourself, get into your center, and get on with it. Now, let's look at the 3 practices that I wish to leave you with. The first one really is to do with what is the difference between a leader and a manager. If you as a leader literally stand in the space of being a leader and own that space, you will transform in the quality of life that you lead for yourself. The difference between a leader and a manager is the leader only has one job, which is to create and manage context. It is the manager's job to really engage with content and deliver on content. But without the context, if the leader starts getting sucked into content, it actually, nobody then knows why they're doing this in the first place. So as a leader, really important to pull yourself back. Now, from time to time, you may be involved in delivering content, but pull yourself back and remain connected to why am I doing this in the first place? Why is this team engaging in it in the first place? It calls you to keep your finger on the pulse of what the intention is. The second practice that I would say is about performance, transforming performance. Now, this is all data that is coming from my study of these leaders from around the world and speaking and engaging with some pretty amazing leaders that most of us know. What I found is inspired leaders, they had a very different way in which they transformed performance. And they used a way of communication to transform performance. And you know what that was? It was listening. How they listen to the poor performer, how they listen to a repeat offender, who they wanted to keep as a part of the team, but they needed that person to shift, was by transforming how they listen to them. So rather than listening to someone as this person is always wasting our time, this person just can't get their act together, transform it and listen to people as if they are like the Dalai Lama. They have got something pretty phenomenal to give you. We often listen with filters. If I was standing here saying, hello, I'm Mynoo Maryel and I'm a politician, bang, your listening filter of a politician will come down. And whatever I say, you will listen to it through that filter. Drop the filter. We have it. We have it with our kids, we have it with our spouses, we have it with our colleagues. So release the filter. And this was like, wow, anyone can do it. And here's the other piece, because I talk about home and work harmony. Whatever I talk about, whatever I teach, you can implement at home and you can implement it at work. Listening, practice it at home. Practice it when you go out to eat, whatever, just drop the filter and listen to each person as if they are like the one that has got this juiciest nugget that you could do something with. You will find the poorest performers completely transforming. And the third one is another very important practice and a characteristic of these leaders that I have studied. It is resolve versus commitment. We all have goals. You have a personal goal, you have a business goal, you have a relationship goal. We have a goal that we are working towards and we are striving towards. Now, you're striving towards that goal. These leaders, They transform their commitments into a resolve. It isn't a goal they're striving for. It becomes something that they are resolved about. It is done. It's a burning desire. It's a burning desire that is just done already. It doesn't matter, and I see this in my business collective companies. It doesn't matter that COVID meant that metros were shutting down and this particular fast food chain only had a metro strategy as a part of their growth. It did not matter. As we got towards the end of COVID, they are all over the country because they have this burning desire of where this organization is going to go and how they're going to demonstrate this new business model where extraordinary results triangle actually delivers the results that we're talking about. So whenever you engage in anything as a leader, it's going to take up your time. Why not? Why not just choose something that is a burning desire as opposed to just something that you wish to get to? Transform it into a resolve and the job will get done. Dubai is an example of that. The vision for Dubai 50 years on, was not a commitment. It wasn't a goal. It was a resolve. It was going to occur, and here we are to experience that. It is an example of this time of a leader coming at it from a point of resolve. Finally, what I wish to do is to leave you with 3 questions. And these 3 questions, use them liberally. The first one basically is that before you embark on doing anything, you've got lots of stuff that you are to do. Before you embark on doing anything, just ask the question, is this mine to do? And if you get that inner intuitive hit, it is, do it. If your inner intuitive hit, your body says, no, it isn't, but you're the only one that everybody relies on, just ask another question. So what is mine to do? It may be that what you get is, it's mine to delegate. It's mine to just get it off my list. Whatever it is, act on that. But ask that question, is this mine to do? And when you're operating from a burning desire, you have no problem at all in getting a very clear answer. The second question. When you find yourself in a state of overwhelm and you're being hurled various things to take on and do, just ask the question, if I didn't have to, if I didn't need to, would I choose to do this? And you can ask that about the job that you're in. You can ask that about the project you're engaged in. You can ask that about the relationship you're in, right? The key thing is we are born with 3 things. We are born with choice. Choice is the modus operandi of being human. And even when you choose to make no choice, you are making the choice of making no choice. You choose to give your choice to your business, to the weather, to whatever, you are choosing that. COVID didn't do anything for us. Different people had different experiences based on the choices that they made. So you are born with that choice. So make that choice and make that with conscious awareness. So if I didn't have to, if I didn't need to, would I choose to do this? Now, if let's say the answer is no, and you are in the middle of a project, you are the leader of that project, how do you deal with that situation? You can then choose that, okay, I'm going to choose to find someone to delegate it to. Until then, I choose to do this. Like literally an inner conflict disappears from you, and you will actually be able to move forward with what I call as JEGO, joy, ease, grace, omnipresent. And the final question, if you wish to transform and uplift your team, uplift your organization, create an uplifted atmosphere in your family, transform your vibration. Because it is a vibration game. We would not all be sitting here looking at each other, in seeing each other in different forms if we were not vibrating. The earth is moving around at 7,000 kilometers an hour. So we are all vibrating. And you focus on uplifting your vibrations by this very simple question, which is the moment you find something quite beautiful that has occurred, or something quite nice that has occurred in the day, ask the question, how much better can it get? Wow, this has occurred. This is the benefit I've had from this. How much better can it get? And then something else happens. Maybe 10 things are pretty awful and one thing is wonderful. Acknowledge what's awful, that's fine. But when you get that wonderful one, go for, wow, how much better can it get? You will see a complete shift occurring. I've had people in my family where there were some serious health catastrophes that we discovered, and it needed an urgent surgery and all of that, and we didn't know whether we would be able to do it. And we just went, we were in the doctor's appointment, in the surgery, we just kept going, how much better can it get? How much better can it get? How much better can it get? We got the best surgeon, we got the time exactly when it needed to happen. The surgery happened perfectly, and she was able to travel in the way that she needed to travel, within the time scale she needed to travel, which all felt was not going to be possible. It's literally a very powerful shifter of vibrations. So we have a short amount of time. I just wanted to give you a few things that you could work with. My closing remark really is an invitation to each one of you. You are all in leadership positions. Step up. I invite you to be inspired leaders. And an inspired leader has only one job to do. And their only job is to create other inspired leaders who can take failure and not give a damn. So join me. It is showtime. The game is on. Let's make it a burning desire, and let's all be inspired leaders. Thank you.